1, 2, 3, tuning into what's hot like a cup of tea. The Burp is live, it's time to feast with BLT icon bringing you the heat. Static on the dial and the crackle in the air, feeling like a rebel in the days wear and tear. The BLT icon's pouring out the noise, tuning into the Burp with the glitch and poise. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. Guess what? By the time you see this, the first round is going to be in the books of the 2025 NFL Draft. We're going to have some new what ifs that are going to come out of that, but you know what? We're going to talk about our own what ifs today, all geared towards the NFL Draft, past, maybe present, but what it could have done, what it could have done to teams, players' careers. What happened? What could have happened? What if? Right? That is one of the best questions you could ask because it really gets the minds going. Fellas, welcome back. This is episode 14 of The Burp, the biggest what ifs in NFL draft history. Yeah, 14 already. We're there.
So Luca's holding up 41.
There we go.
It makes sense on camera now.
What if Luca?
I have to see 41. You guys see 14. What if Luca understood how the camera worked?
Hey, welcome back, guys. It's good to see you again. Excited for this episode. We had a lot of good talk just thinking of this one, and we have a lot more what ifs to talk about. But today we've got it limited to what ifs of the NFL Draft. But as you know, we can't start anything until we find out. Drum roll, please. What are we drinking? Luca, what are you drinking today?
Guys,
it was water last time, so let's.
I got no. I'm just kidding. I brought that in as a joke. We're back to vodka berry lemonade. And I mixed it extra strong to make up for last week. So
great.
We're half vodka.
Luca.
He's gonna be sloshing around in a little bit, slurping and burping.
Gonna get litty like a titty.
Jesus, he's already there.
Who invited this guy?
Why am I here? How did I get here?
Right. I think you invited yourself. Billy.
I invited myself to the party.
Oh, okay. That was actually well played. I'll give you that one. Billy, what you drinking today?
Guys, I got 3 drinks. Here. 3. 2 spotted cows because I was out of Coors Light.
Oh,
so these are some old spotted cows in the back of the fridge, so I hope they're good. And a seltzer water.
Oh, okay.
Seltzer water.
All right.
The spotted cow from last Labor Day weekend? Can't be. Come on, man.
Actually, it might be.
Hey, you know what? If they're not over a year,
find out.
They're fine.
Find out if it's good.
Oh, okay. Moment of truth. Is the spotted cow any good 1 year later?
It'll do.
Tastes like beer.
It'll do.
You go.
It'll do, pig.
It'll do. All right, perfect. You know what? I kind of went old school today because I'm feeling like in an old school kind of mood. I'm actually going with the Corona, but I got a lime this time. Living the Corona high life.
Florida really changed you, man.
Mas Fina? I don't know. Anyway, it's good. I'm excited for it. Not as excited as I am to get started on this. You guys ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this.
I got some pent up frustration I need to let out on Goody and a whole bunch of other GMs.
All right, this is good. I am excited for this one because we're actually going to be, because again, we are homers. You can see all our Packer stuff, all the Buck stuff, Brewer stuff. We are homers. So the first what ifs we're going to talk about are geared towards the Green Bay Packers because the Green Bay Packers, I don't know if you guys have noticed, they have a tendency to just miss, whether it's the player they want getting taken before them, whether it's the player they should have gotten that was taken, they just seem to miss. So we're going to go through a couple examples of that. The first one, which I'm going to run into here, and I'm going to see what you guys think about it. This story has just kind of come out lately, but it turns out, that the Green Bay Packers were in line to draft one of the greatest running backs of all time. So back in 1990, the Green Bay Packers were going to draft Emmitt Smith from the University of Florida. The Packers had the number 18 pick that year. The Cowboys ended up getting Emmitt Smith with pick number 17. So the Packers were not able to pick Emmitt Smith. They did pick one Tony Bennett. Now, mind you, Tony Bennett did have a decent career when he had 2 seasons of 13 sacks back to back. He had a decent career on our D line. I don't know if he was the one that like body slammed Jim McMahon, but it was a Bears thing. So whatever, it's all good. But the first one I got there is that the Packers were going to draft Emmitt Smith, but we got Tony Bennett. We just missed him. What do you guys think about that?
Is that the same guy that body slammed Jim McMahon?
It might be. I can't remember for sure.
Arguably one of the dirtiest plays ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jim McMahon got his revenge because when he was like the backup on the Packers, then he like lifted his jersey up and it was the Bears, something like that.
When they went to the White House from winning the Super Bowl, he wore his Bears jersey like a punk.
I digress, but the point is, I don't care. Slam him harder into the ground. It's the Bears.
All right.
It would have been epic to have Emmitt Smith, now that I think about it, because we really struggled with running backs. All we had was Edgar Bennett back then. Could you imagine what Favre could have done with that? Definitely more than one Super Bowl comes to mind.
Absolutely.
Least.
Yeah, it's funny.
You make a good point.
Yeah, it's funny because I grew up during that time hating the Cowboys, hating Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith because they beat the Packers in the playoffs. So to think that Emmitt Smith could have been a Packer, that changes the whole mindset. Going like, oh wow, which I think leads me to the conclusion of like, okay, maybe I didn't hate them as players. I just hated that my team I rooted for was getting beat.
Yes,
but because looking back in retrospect, it's like, hell yeah, I would have liked Emmitt Smith. On the Packers, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, and I think they could have done so much more. I agree, because he had maybe Don Majkowski would have been healthy, and now here's the crazy what if. What if we got Emmitt Smith? What if Don Majkowski never got hurt? And then what if Brett Favre never played?
Okay, now these what ifs are going to a little bit too stretched.
Start thinking about that. Okay, well, let's move on to another one. Luca, I'm going to just alley this one up for you to oop it down for me, okay? Certain guy that you like, okay?
Hey, Kevin, are you around? That was a bit loud. Kevin, you might want to unblock me. Kevin King. Let's go back to who we should have actually drafted, who we had ready to go, teed up, ready to go. It was TJ Watt, and we traded back for none other than
traded back.
Going to be Darrelle Revis, the next one, Kevin King. And I think we ended up having a butterfly effect after that. I looked at draft classes after that. 2018, I think we would have stayed the same with Jair and Josh Jackson. 2019, I think we would have stayed the same with Rashawn Gary and Savage. Love and Dylan in 2020 would have stayed the same. 2021, there's nobody available at our pick other than Stokes. So best available, there wasn't anybody really good who's done anything. 2022 is where it changes. Would we have gone after Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt? I don't know. But we liked it. We were needing a tight end. At that point, instead of drafting a Quay Walker or a Devontae Wyatt, we could have easily have gone and picked up McBride, and we could have easily gone and gotten Karlaftis. Both those guys were best available for what we needed that draft year. That could have been huge for us. I think we would have had Rodgers another Super Bowl easily with TJ Watt.
All because we wanted Kevin King.
Yep. And with McBride and Karlaftis, 2022, I think Rodgers could have gone out on quite the high streak. We also had an option in 2023 rather than getting Lucas Van Ness because, once again, another line guy who we could have had TJ Watt for. We had a need at wide receiver. We could have gotten Smith and Njigba. We could have gotten Zay Flowers, or we could have gotten Addison. So we wouldn't have had Luke Musgrave. We wouldn't have had. I think we still could have gotten Tucker Kraft. But if you go best available in that year, best available was Brian Branch at our pick. He went to the Lions the very 2 picks later. So the butterfly effect for how bad this hurt us by not drafting TJ Watt is immense. And I think it cost us a Super Bowl. So fuck you, Kevin King.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
hate that guy. You hate that guy.
Oh
We
yeah,
hate
and
that
Goody,
guy.
and fuck Goody too,
Yeah.
because he doesn't know how to draft.
All right. Billy, you got anything you want to add to that?
I don't know how to follow that, honestly. So,
Right, same.
fuck Kevin King. I don't know.
Kevin King.
Yeah,
All right.
there we go. That's my guy.
Okay, perfect. I think we're all in alignment there. Let's move on to this next one, because this next one I think could have brought us Super Bowls back in the 90s as well. And remind you, Emmitt Smith is on the team at this point. Okay. Maybe this changes if Emmitt Smith is on it. Anyway, going to talk about it. Okay. Number 3 that I have is that back in 1996, we were literally on the phone with Ray Lewis. We were assured that the Baltimore Ravens at that time were not going to pick a middle linebacker. So we were on the phone with him saying, hey, we're going to draft you, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the Ravens go and draft Ray Lewis out from under us at pick number 26. We were going to grab him at 27. So again, we just missed on Ray Lewis because someone else grabbed him. Now, who did we pick? John Michaels, offensive lineman,
Who?
primarily a backup. John
Who?
Michaels, yeah. Who? Right?
Uh-uh.
So he played a little bit, but the fact that you could have had a caliber player like Ray Lewis. Now, and mind you, that defense in 96 won a Super Bowl and was almost just as good in 1997. Now, had you had Ray Lewis to add onto the defense that had a Reggie White, Sean Jones, Craig Newsom, Eugene Robinson, Wayne Simmons, right? Like all these different Gilbert Brown, all these guys, you add a Ray Lewis to that defense is probably better than the 85 Bears. Fuck the Bears, right? So the fact that we just missed out on Ray Lewis, we were on the phone with him and he got picked by the Ravens. So
That hurts.
you
so
add
much.
him to that late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s defense with the Packers there. Oh my God, that defense is winning 2 or 3 more Super Bowls. Because even at that time then, Brett Favre with that offense, which we didn't lose a lot. Yeah, so that one kind of hurts because I really think that would have propelled us a lot further. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Almost getting Ray Lewis. Luca, let's start with you. You're on that one.
How I don't know how long he would have lasted, because back then we did not like scandals. So after his whole shooting thing, maybe we would have lost him or not re-signed him or traded him of some sort.
Sure.
But if you put him into the lineups with what we had, and we did sign Sean Jones before the draft.
Yeah.
To add him on in there with that linebacking core and that defensive line, holy. Hey, maybe who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have even had that shooting because he would have had the minister with him.
Yep.
Reggie White.
Yeah,
Maybe he
who
sets
knows,
him
right?
straight. Maybe he finds
Maybe.
God before prison. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely, you're adding Super Bowls once again.
All right. Billy, what do you got?
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with Luca. I just don't think Green Bay being such a small market team, I don't think they could have handled a murderer in that small town as well as someone who liked to pick up prostitutes like Eugene Robinson.
Ooh.
So I mean, that's just that's a lot of suspicious behavior in little old Green Bay.
Yeah.
Mark Shamora, high school
Mark
parties.
Yes, yeah.
16, 17-years in the hot tub, right?
Yeah. But seriously,
Where's
though,
that Drake meme when we need it?
Ooh.
insert
Murder.
Seriously though, I just think that defense would have been unstoppable, just like the both of you said. I just think, I mean, all jokes aside, you can't deny Ray Lewis is one of the best linebackers to ever do it.
Yeah.
And if he would have had that kind of career that he did with the Ravens, that with the Packers, like let's just say it was mirrored. I mean, geez. I mean, could you imagine? I mean,
right?
Unstoppable.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
Any one of these guys that we're naming off, Emmitt Smith or Ray Lewis, you got to respect their careers with their respective team. But man, to have had them on the Green Bay Packers would have been, that would have been beautiful.
All right. So I'm going to finish up here with an honorable mention. This one I wanted to bring up just because of how good a player Cam Hayward has been for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Packers did just miss out on Cam Hayward back in 2011. The Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously, right, lost to the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. So they had the number 31 pick. The Packers were looking to get Cam Hayward. We did not. We missed out on him, and we got Derek Sherrod, who was an offensive lineman. didn't last long, but we got him at number 32. So that was an honorable mention just because of the caliber player Cam Hayward has been for the Steelers. And just one pick earlier, we'd have had him. We could have had a Cam Hayward on our team. So I'm going to wrap up the Green Bay Packers here with that one. And I want to move on to Luca. You got a good one here. Let's move on to
dive into another what if. This is one that I've been contemplating for quite some time. What if the Colts drafted Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning? Because there was a little bit back and forth as to who they were going to draft. Peyton Manning was a clear-cut number one, but he had some issues. Well, I think if Peyton Manning went to the Chargers, look at who we would have had on that team with LT, with Vincent, what's his name?
Vincent Jackson.
Vincent Jackson, and he also would have had Antonio Gates for majority of the career. I think Peyton, yes, dive on in.
Okay, so I just want to bring this up real quick because I was looking at the roster that Ryan Leaf inherited with the Chargers. So for the first few years,
they weren't that crazy good though.
Peyton would have had to have win, or would have had to try to make a winning team out of that, out of Natron Means, out of Freddie Jones and Webster Slaughter at wide receiver. Don't even know who the tight end was at that time. It took the Chargers a while to get LT, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees back then at that point. So just looking at what Peyton would have had with the Chargers, had he got drafted to the Chargers, would he have suffered the same fate as Ryan Leaf? So go ahead.
No. That's a good aspect. I was thinking by the time those guys get there, I think Peyton's developed to where he's getting that team to do what he needs to do to move that ball forward. And after he gets those guys, he pops off a couple Super Bowls. I mean, that's
if you put Peyton with LT and Antonio Gates and Vincent, oh my God, that team is you're winning Super Bowls finally for San Diego.
San Diego generationally fucked themselves, I think. But the Colts are smart. They took him first overall. What are your thoughts, Billy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think Ryan Leaf would have struggled with his substance abuse, causing the Colts to never succeed or thrive. But besides the drug abuse, I mean, he was also plagued with injuries. So if you remove the drug abuse, I mean, in my opinion, he wouldn't have had a long NFL career anyway. It would have fizzled out like so many other college stars did. Like you said, Luca, just, the Colts being screwed along like with others. But Peyton Manning, on the other hand, I think, again, he would have had success on any team he played for. Like T. West said, with the star power that was in San Diego, I think they would have steamrolled through the league. And look at what happened when the Colts gave up on him. He went to the Broncos, Super Bowl champion, MVP, proving, that his football IQ would have propelled him no matter the circumstance. So, for me personally, for this one, I think the narrative stays the same, but just flip-flop the teams, flip-flop the scenarios. You'd have to look at the teams and what lasting impact Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning left on the actual teams. Giving them success, setting them up for success, setting them up for failure, or setting the team back multiple seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you guys just said there. The only thing that I was trying to do, what if the atmosphere in San Diego was so bad where Peyton wasn't allowed to show his IQ, right?
Yeah. And I think further down in this episode, I kind of I think I alluded to some of that just in one of our different what ifs, but that's so right. It's so right because it's not really the player, it's how it's ran.
Yeah.
So you can have a stellar employee, but a shit CEO,
right?
You kind of look at it like that. So, it's definitely a good one to talk about.
All right. Yeah, perfect. Luke, anything else you want to?
Nope. I got more to add to this later on, though.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see what Billy's got.
Well, I got one that's kind of the other Manning. What if Eli Manning never was traded from the Chargers to the Giants?
Man, the Manning and the Chargers, they're tied.
Yep. Luca, I know you said you had something for this, so I'll kick it to you to start.
All right. Well, Eli going to New York over the Chargers, the whole debacle. I looked at it this way. Okay, Eli goes to the Chargers. He still has those players. Does he go to the Super Bowl? Does it have the same effect? Uh, he wouldn't have had the defensive help with San Diego. I think that would hurt him. I don't think Eli walks out of there with 2 Super Bowls. I think New York getting Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers could have easily have done gotten him to a Super Bowl. I don't know about win it, but I think he could have gotten that Giants team to a Super Bowl. My whole wrap on it is going back to Peyton. Now, if Peyton is a Charger, you don't need to go and get Eli. You don't need to go and get Phillip Rivers. Instead, in the 2004 draft, you're drafting Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald went out there and just destroyed records. Now, you put this team together, Larry Fitzgerald, Vincent Jackson, they ended up having Antonio Gates, LT, and even a young Chris Chambers comes in there, Darren Sproles. I think from 04 to 08, they win 3 to 4 rings. And then I went off the deep end here. In 2015, Peyton's last year, they call it the last ride. It's Gates, it's Manning, it's Fitz. They're all together. They got these young guys, Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, out there helping them out with a pretty decent defense, mind you.
Yeah.
They go out there, they call it the last ride, boom, finish with one more. I think Peyton could have had 4, maybe 5 Super Bowls with the Chargers.
That was good.
Yeah.
Had that happen, and they got Larry Fitzgerald. Oh,
so you're saying
because of it.
You're saying Peyton Manning would have John Elway did and just rode off to the sunset as a Super Bowl champion?
Yep, he would have finished off his career on top.
Yeah.
But
That you make a lot of.
He would have Super Bowl rings plural had he
Talk
been
about
Charger.
someone who deserves a Super Bowl ring. It's Larry Fitzgerald. So
Yes.
Fascinating points, Luca. I agree with what you're saying. I think that's great. T West, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I agree. That was a really good dive there. The only thing that the direction I'm going to go here is Phillip Rivers staying with the Giants. I think Phillip Rivers, way better quarterback than Eli Manning. I think Phillip Rivers ended up taking the Giants to those 2 Super Bowls because they do have a better defense in New York, right?
Oh, yeah.
He takes them to at least 2 Super Bowls, the same ones that Eli did. But I think throughout the 15 to 20 years that Eli and Phillip each played, I really think that the Giants are probably perennial Super Bowl contenders, right? Instead of those down years that they had in New York with Eli, I think Phillip keeps them well over 500. They have a run similar to what the Pittsburgh Steelers are on with Mike Tomlin. I think they're just constantly in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers gets 2, maybe 3 Super Bowls during that time frame.
Wow.
And I think it's a completely flip-flopped career. Eli staying with the Chargers. Now, again, that's provided the Ryan Leaf thing and Peyton Manning thing, right? But we'll just say in this what if Eli stays with the Chargers. I think that's almost just mirrored where he gets close to the AFC Championship. He gets LT, same guys, just doesn't get over the hump, where I think Phillip gets over the hump with New York, and I think he stays at a higher place than Eli led them to. So Eli, not as good of a quarterback as Phillip Rivers, although he's got 2 Super Bowls to his name, and Phillip Rivers does not. So
that's a good take. I like that.
Yeah, another person that I feel like has gotten so close to the ring that maybe deserve one would be Phillip Rivers. Here's my take. I did a little Googling just to kind of like throw together different scenarios. Here's something a little different. So this one's fun. It is like the butterfly effect.
yeah.
Eli did go to the Chargers. What other team draft picks or strategies would have changed? Here's something that I jotted down. So you would have had Ben Roethlisberger, a Giant, Phillip Rivers, a Brown, and good old Tommy Maddox would have remained a Steeler. And this poor guy, I mean, maybe it would have worked out for him. Maybe he didn't have to go sell insurance in between his AFL and XFL stints.
Yep, XFL.
I mean, did Eli ruin this guy's career with his stupid ass little
he might have
head shake when he told, I don't want this. I don't want this. Like, what if? But jokes aside, say what you want about Eli being that doofus little brother of Peyton, but he was sort of an Iron Man himself, and he brought 2 championships to the Giants. So could that have been the same fate for the Chargers, or like you guys both said, Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf scenario. This would not even exist. This wouldn't be a talking point if Peyton was drafted second overall. So it's just it's just like you guys said, it's just the butterfly effect, and the what ifs is like it's so crazy how these things work out.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about Tommy Maddox in this scenario. That
Neither
was
did
going
I.
deep.
Not in the slightest. Wow.
That was awesome.
That was
Man.
really cool.
Kudos to Tommy Maddox though for winning the XFL championship.
Yeah, right.
You know? Okay, love it. Now I want to do this too because we're something about quarterbacks, right? There's another really, really famous one here I think we need to talk about. And that we need to talk about what if the 49ers ended up picking Aaron Rodgers over Alex Smith?
Oof.
What does this look like now? So, okay, I need to hear your guys' thoughts before I completely make mine here. Luca, go ahead, start us off on this one.
Look at how many NFC championships they went to, Super Bowls that we saw them go to, that the Packers just kept on losing to them with. The team had better defense, arguably ran a little bit better than Green Bay because obviously they kept on beating us. I think Rodgers has 4 to 5 rings with them.
With
Plain
San
and simple.
Francisco?
With San Francisco.
Oh man, that'd be crazy. And you're probably not wrong. Billy, what are your thoughts on this one?
This one's loaded for me, so I need to crack another beer for this one.
Yep. Oh, go for it.
Oh boy, they're going
So,
quick tonight, huh?
I like what Lucas said because I think I differ a little bit. So it goes without saying how impacted both franchises would have been if this happened. I mean, the Packers, you would have had back-to-back Hall of Fame worthy quarterbacks. You would have had Alex Smith, who had that gruesome injury resulting in a quarterback carousel for the 49ers. So I can only imagine that would have been the same story for the Packers. Probably no Super Bowl for the 49ers again. If Aaron Rodgers had the same type of career, again, mirrored like how it is now. I mean, I think we're talking about that, a longevity of a 49ers quarterback for 18 seasons and all that.
Yep.
However, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and here's what I think. Aaron Rodgers, we all know, plays with a chip on his shoulder. Why? Because his hometown team, the team he grew up watching and idolizing those players, didn't draft him. He fell so deep in the draft, it pissed him off because he thought he was a top first-round pick talent. So now let's say the 49ers drafted him first overall. Would Rodgers still have that chip on his shoulder that he's so known to have when he plays? I mean, that chip on his shoulder is what made him a great quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, or flip side, would there be no chip on his shoulder because California boys playing for the California team? He kind of got what he was wishing for. So does that work ethic change? Does that time spent working on your craft where he just dials in, you know, with his accuracy and the strong arm and all that, does that work ethic not happen because he got what he wanted?
Right.
I mean, you know, and I'll tell you, getting wronged and being pissed off or playing pissed off has had better results for many other great athletes. So a part of me, I'm a little different on this. Like, I think a part of me thinks we don't see that greatness of what Aaron Rodgers brought to the game of football and the Green Bay Packers if the draft didn't happen the way it did.
Yeah. And may I please add, who is he sitting behind? Who has he got there in San Francisco to learn from? He had Brett Favre for 3 seasons.
Yep.
Who does he got there? What was it? Jeff Garcia back then, who was on his way out? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You know, and granted, though, Brett Favre even said though that he didn't really mentor Aaron Rodgers. He said it's not my job.
Yeah.
So you know, he wasn't a good teacher to Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't a good mentor. But props to Aaron Rodgers because he sat in the sidelines and he studied and he went. He watched film. He attended the meetings. So I think a lot of that was his own. It was more of a self-made thing, though.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has that drive if he was the number 1 pick rather than Alex Smith.
I love that take. And I kind of want to add to that real quick. Aaron Rodgers at number 1. I don't think it's not that he doesn't have that drive or that work ethic. I think he goes out there knowing the type of like quarterback and competitor that he is. He's still going to have the same kind of results, I think, because he wants to be the best number 1 ever, right? Like he's going to compare himself against all the other number 1s. And this way he can compare himself to the John Elways, the Peytons, right? Some of these other guys. So I think he still comes out and does that. And I think he's still the same. And also I just think he's probably the best thrower of the football that I've ever seen, right? So I think he's still there. I think he's still that same competitor, still the same type of successful quarterback. And now here's where it gets different for me. the Packers don't pick Alex Smith. I don't
No,
think
not at all.
I don't think Alex Smith would have fallen as far as Aaron Rodgers. I think there are too many what ifs with Aaron Rodgers. That's perfect for this, right? What ifs, but I don't think Alex Smith would have fallen to where we were. So, and I don't think the Packers would have picked him either. I think
No.
they liked what they saw in Aaron Rodgers, and they were ready to make that pick. So, in this case, though, Alex Smith is not a Green Bay Packer.
Mhm.
You know who comes back as quarterback for the Green Bay Packers? Brett Favre, right? He's got 2 more years with us. NFC Championship game in 2007. He retires. We start Aaron Rodgers. In this case, we don't have that. Well, there's no pressure on him yet to retire. So he plays all the way through 2009, 2010. And you know what? Maybe because there's not that pressure, he doesn't leave and he is able to go on what we call these last rides, right? You kind of brought that
Mhm.
up a little earlier, you guys. And maybe Brett Favre goes on these last rides if we don't take Aaron Rodgers in 05.
Oh,
So,
man, that's such a good point because
Wow.
Favre was pissed when they drafted
Yeah.
Rodgers, right?
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
so you're
And they
saying he
started that saga
never
of-
leaves, never goes to the Jets, never has
Yep.
that actual good run he had with the Vikings. As much as that pains me to say,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
with us.
oh man,
That's
yeah.
actually with
And-
us then. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
really good
crazy.
take. That's a good take.
He doesn't
That's where I see
contemplate
that one.
retirement every single
Right.
year after
Yep.
Rodgers. Wow. And
So
wow.
the whole thing plays out differently, and Brett Favre goes down in history as the greatest Green Bay Packer ever, which he still might be. But you know, it's like now you don't have that little asterisk of the Jets and the Minnesota Vikings time with him. He's just a Packer
Mhm.
through and
Yep.
through. So
The way it should have been,
it's
honestly.
the way it should have been.
Yep.
Yep. So that's how I see that one playing out. But
Yeah.
Damn,
all right.
that's a good one. Nice one, Billy.
Well, well, nice one, all of you, because we all had really good points. I like how we all just took it
Mhm.
from a different angle.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick with the NFC North with this
Okay.
one.
Okay.
So what if the Bears did what they should have done and drafted Patrick Mahomes instead
Yep.
of Mitch Trubisky?
Ooh,
Oh my gosh.
jeez.
What does that look
Uh,
like?
Let's see. I'm saying toss up. Luca, you went first last time. T West, go this time.
Okay, so what if the Bears drafted Pat Mahomes? Okay, so here's what I got for this. Pat Mahomes turns into the current day Mitch Trubisky, right? Like Pat Mahomes is a good quarterback, okay? But remember, he got to sit a year behind Alex Smith on a very good Kansas City Chiefs team. Now, if you were going to just throw him to the Wolves like they did Mitch Trubisky in Chicago, same thing. Chicago sucks, okay? The Chicago Bears are a terrible football organization. Nobody likes them. It's just, no. So Mitch Trubisky goes down the same exact route Pat Mahomes goes down the same exact route as in Mitch Trubisky, whereas Mitch Trubisky, although not as purely talented as Pat Mahomes, finds some success in Kansas City. Now, my take is that they just flip flop, right? That Mitch Trubisky's in Kansas City and the Bears have Mahomes. I feel really bad for Pat Mahomes here because I don't think his career goes in the stratosphere that it's in now, right? Like, he probably gets a divorce because I'm sure his wife isn't going to like the windy city of Chicago, you know. Although it's cold in Kansas City, I take that back. Jackson wouldn't be able to dance on the sidelines, so it's a different world.
No
It's a
one would know who
completely
he
different world.
is.
Right? No one knows who he is. So
He gets shot in Chicago.
Oh,
damn.
I mean,
Just
he would.
straight off the deep end with that one.
He would.
Jeez.
So that's just my take is that those two just flip flop. And in all honesty, if the Bears take Pat Mahomes, I don't know if the Chiefs take a Mitch Trubisky. So,
Yeah.
but I'm envisioning those guys flip flopping, and the careers are just nothing as good comes out of that. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good points. I see what you're saying, Luca. I'm curious what your take is.
Well, yeah, I think they take Mahomes. I think because they still don't have an offensive line, he gets hammered. He ends up rushing for over 1,000 yards every single year. I agree with everything that T. West said. I think his career is kind of broken, but he's so much better than, say, a Trubisky. I think he's way better than Fields. And I think in 2001 with Fields, yeah, they're not going to have the number one pick, but go through that first round. Look at everybody
2001,
who's
Justin
there.
Fields wasn't born, I don't think.
In 21?
2001, you said.
I'm sorry, 21.
Okay, gotcha. All right. He was born. He was definitely alive then.
Yes. He was drafted that year. I think we're
You're
looking
so good at
at
this.
we're looking at a high first round pick for a wide receiver because they're still lacking a wide receiver. And they go and grab Rashad Bateman. Does Rashad Bateman help Mahomes as a quarterback? No, I think he ends up having a very, very mediocre career. I do think he lasts more than the average 3-4 years for a Bears quarterback.
The Bears.
And they just suck. Yeah, I think they destroy his career. Everybody's like, well, Mahomes still has baseball, right? That's about it. Yeah, I agree with T West on everything.
Yeah. You know, what else can I say about this one? You know, when I first started thinking about this right away, I was like, oh, Bears would own the Packers and the NFC North, you know, not vice versa. But I started thinking about it more and more, and I agree with both of you. It's just, like I said earlier, is just look at how many great players. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, you know, he hasn't really panned on the NFL, but he's still an NFL quarterback. He still has talent.
Right.
But
Yeah.
just look at how many good players end up having a shit career because of just being on bad teams, bad coaches, bad front offices.
Yep.
It just limits what a player can do. So I totally agree with you. It's just I think Mahomes turns into goes down the path of more of like a Mitch Trubisky underwhelming starter. Team that drafted him turns their back on him, and now he's like what 2 teams removed from the Bears, something like that. It's just it is crazy what a well-coached, well-organized franchise can do. And you can't deny that old Andy Cheeseburger Reed isn't a great coach.
Oh, he is.
I mean, if
he's
I was
spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a betting man, I would disagree with both of you. I just think it would have been shit. It would have been shit.
Right. Imagine that. We're talking about the Bears and just a pile of shit. You know?
Yeah.
So,
They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were.
and we let them off the hook.
Yep. So, yeah.
Okay. No, that's a great one. And Luca, why don't you take us?
I got another one. I got one more for you guys.
Yeah.
Let's. Oh man, to go back to the Colts. What if the Colts didn't move on from Peyton Manning's experimental surgery over in Germany and that number 1 pick? They do not draft Andrew Luck. Who do they draft? I'm just gonna dive right into it. They get the guy. They knew they messed this up. They knew that they messed this up. They traded for this guy a couple years later. Trent Richardson. They needed a running back. I think they draft him. They actually get him for the years that he didn't suck. Because Trent, once he got traded, he's up and down. You weren't too sure if he was going to be healthy that year or if he was going to go for 1,000 yards. So, sorry, Ben Ulick. I know that you drafted him how many different times, and he always sucked for you, and you always tried to trade him away. But, hey, man, had things gone right, you could have had him during the good years. Man, that sucks. But, yeah, I think Colts, they would have had at least 1, maybe 2 more Super Bowls. T. West, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a different what if here on us, okay? So what if the Colts don't pick Andrew Luck and they stay with Peyton Manning? All right. I actually think you see the Colts still with the number 1 pick because Peyton was out that year. But I see them picking like a Matt Khalil at that number 1 spot. Because they're going to beef up that offensive line, right? So Matt Khalil now goes from 4 with the Vikings.
Offensive line, good pick.
Okay, so they do that, and now it all changes because now Andrew Luck is going to the Redskins at the time.
Ooh.
RG3 is moving down a little bit. Does RG3 then? Does he stay healthy with a different team? Right, because he's getting picked. Trying to remember who was in those top. Does he go to? Actually, does RG3 go to Cleveland and completely die, or does he go to Minnesota? Because Minnesota needed a quarterback at that time. So
completely dead.
Who knows, right? But like RG3 has a chance to extend his career beyond his rookie year with the Redskins at the time because he's with a different team. Yeah, maybe he dies in Cleveland. I don't know, but it could happen, right? It's just another name on that Cleveland Browns jersey list. Right. But that's what's crazy about this is that Andrew Luck's in Washington, and Trent Richardson, maybe he's still with the Browns. Maybe Minnesota takes RG3 and the Packers then have a hell of a time with the Vikings. Because didn't they pick like Christian Ponder or something in that?
Yeah.
It was,
I think they did.
or maybe they were still with like Sam Bradford. Or I forget because the Vikings had their quarterback problems too. So fuck the Vikings. But
yeah, indeed.
So anyway, that's just this whole domino changes everybody's landscape because the Colts stayed with Peyton Manning, beefed up their offensive line, and maybe they go a little further. I don't know, but that's crazy. And then the Broncos, do you take away their 2 Super Bowls then? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. What if the Carolina Panthers don't play the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl 50 and the Carolina Panthers get a Super Bowl win? Oh my gosh.
I don't think the Panthers would be able to beat the Colts.
I don't think the Colts make it to the Super Bowl though.
Really? With Peyton?
Oh, yeah. No, they're still a 500 team with Peyton.
Ouch! What?
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
that's me. I'm gonna have some beer.
All right.
That was a good one. Anybody else got anything? Are we wrapping this up? Are we diving into a what to know?
I didn't go yet, bitch.
So are we diving into a what to know? No, I'm just kidding. All right, Billy.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Goodbye. I'll just see myself out. So
He gets up and walks out.
Bye.
To me, this one's simple. I think you have to just really look at it from a different angle, like not right in front of you, but kind of, you do those looks where you just turn your head, you squint. Maybe when you're squinting, you're just like bend down looking at it. And then when you're bent over, you can shove it up your butt. And that's what Peyton Manning made the Colts organization do. Peyton Manning overcomes and he rehabs his neck injury just like he did.
I swear I'm listening to you. I just can't stop laughing.
He proves the naysayers wrong, has another MVP season, another Super Bowl championship for the Colts. It's easy to look back in hindsight, and obviously if there's a crystal ball the Colts front office could have used, they would have stuck to it or stuck it out with Manning. But especially just knowing how short of a career Andrew Luck ended up having. Mm-hmm. They gave up on him, as in Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning got the last laugh, proving he still had plenty more gas in the tank. But, I get it. They saw potential in a younger version of Peyton Manning and had to move on. Look at all the comparisons that Andrew Luck had to go against Peyton Manning. I mean, we've seen it as Packers fans, both with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and it won't be the last time, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's easy to look at things in hindsight, but it's just Colts fucked up. I mean.
Yeah, and they pulled the Chicago Bears. They refused to draft any decent offensive lineman for how long? So Andrew's like, I'm not getting CTE. I'm not doing this. I actually want to remember being with my children and all that stuff. And they forced him into an early retirement because he actually cares about his mental health and his well-being. Congrats to you, Andrew Luck, for a great move. And Colts have not recovered since. So that's on them.
Absolutely.
Damn.
No, I love that. I love that take. That crystal ball you're talking about is actually up someone's anus right now in Indianapolis. So if you're looking for it, it's
whoever the GM or owner is. Yeah.
But all right, so we really want to jump into trivia here, I know. So do you guys want to do this last one or do you want to table it for next time? We can make it quick. You want to table it?
Let's table it because I'm going to dive off the deep end with it next time.
Okay. All right. So we're going to table it.
Let's table it and dangle it out for the audience to be like, hey, if you like this what if segment and all these scenarios, come back for more because we have more for you.
We have a good one.
Many more.
And it involves the Chargers yet again. So
wah.
What does that sound like? The Chargers. Come on, guys. You're doing 3 of our what ifs.
What a doomed franchise.
They generationally just shafted themselves over and over and over. And you know what? I'm okay with it. Because now San Diego doesn't even have a team. They didn't care about that team so much that they were scrambling to find a place to go, and they went to none other than LA.
You know what's funny about that is I still kind of forget sometimes, and I think even on previous episodes I said San Diego Chargers. And it was really funny. I was driving today home, and I was on the highway, and I saw a car. It had Virginia license plates, but it had a license plate frame around it, and it said Los Angeles Chargers. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, wait, that's right. They're in Los Angeles.
They are in Los Angeles.
Swear to God, that happened to me today at about 5 p.m. I was like, that is weird.
Nice.
It's easy to forget about them being in LA.
Yeah. Although I do like Justin Herbert. I think he's a good quarterback. But again, I think he's another Phillip Rivers, never going to win a ring. But
yeah,
that's a topic for another day.
I love that topic.
Jim
Well,
Harbaugh, can he get it done? I don't know. Probably not.
So let's do this. Let's the what to know. My brain is fried from these what ifs, and I'm still kind of stuck. So I really don't have anything to tell you. So if you guys got something you want to throw out there real quick, great. Otherwise, let's just jump right into trivia.
Let's do it. Let's jump right into it.
You know, it's
All right.
funny. I have my notes for the what to know segment, and I literally had next to it nothing. I had nothing to say either.
Right, I'm like, I got nothing this time. So I was thankful you guys are ready to let's go right into trivia.
Yeah, we can go right into trivia. So, okay, well, let me kick this off. As a reminder, T West is at 46. Luca is at 41. Again, the theme of this is draft. This is football. So get your football thinking caps on. T West, buddy, you are in the lead.
I did
You're gonna
not
go first.
study. I did not study one bit.
I
haven't studied this whole entire season, so let's put an asterisk when T West wins this. An asterisk to we're just gonna call you LeBron in the bubble from 2020.
No,
you
we're
got
not.
time to prep and get ready to go for it. It's
Motherfucker, you had like 6 weeks.
You know what?
Off of natural knowledge.
But Luca, you're 2 hours behind, so we're technically in the future. You're in the I feel like you have 2 hours.
2 hours more to study
time.
That doesn't make sense, but okay.
I know that doesn't make sense. All right. I'm gonna get to the point. Okay. T West, are you going first? You're going first.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I'll wrap this up real quick.
All right, you ready?
I'm actually a little nervous. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's baseball, so you better be ready.
All right, T West. Question number 1: which team drafted Bo Jackson?
Oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That is correct. Do you know the story behind that? If not, I will rattle off real quick. If not, please feel free.
Yeah, rattle it off.
I did not know this, but he refused to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he thought they sabotaged his I think it was his baseball playing with the poor facilities or whatever. So and he thinks he did that so they can draft him for football or something like that. So he refused to play for him. Is that crazy?
That was crazy. But they still drafted him. Yeah.
Still drafted him. All right. Luca, question.
Did he spring training over there in Tampa at that time or something?
I think it was when he was in college.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Auburn? Okay.
Yeah, it's Auburn. And it was like the facilities weren't up to NCAA standards or something like that. So he didn't like that. Yeah. So, okay. TUS point. Luca, question number 2. Which team in 2003 famously missed their draft pick when they were on the clock?
Vikings.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Good one.
You can't forget that. We only made fun of Lex for how many years because of that. Go make your pick because we did for fantasy football. Go make your pick. Are you gonna miss it?
Right.
Put a time limit on him. Oh, that poor guy.
All right. T West.
Yep.
Question number 3. Which former number 1 pick also won Rookie of the Year in 2011?
Oh, Christ. 2011.
2011. Number 1 draft pick and also won Rookie of the Year.
Was it Sam Bradford?
It was not Sam Bradford.
Okay.
2011.
FY, he's Googling on his phone right now. So
nope, hand check. Although I do have a nuisance behind me attacking everything and jumping up the wall, trying to pull down the backdrop. So sorry if it gets loud over here. And my backdrop disappears.
Do you give up?
No. 2011. Thinking of the draft class. They won their first round pick and they also won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Would that be
Damn, man, this is gonna be silent as fuck on
Spotify.
Spotify.
Is there a time limit on this shit?
Shoot,
we want to talk about. I said
I'm expecting T West to get this all right.
Bullshit here, okay? Come on.
We need an answer.
All right. I'm gonna say. Fuck! I give up. No answer.
Oh, you guys, Cam Newton.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would not have said that.
I wasn't nowhere near that one.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're up to who's now? Luca? Is it Luca?
Yeah, this is Luca. Yep.
All right, Luca. Who did the 49ers trade draft picks with to acquire Jerry Rice in 1985?
Oh boy. Who did they trade with?
Was that the Chargers?
It was not the Chargers. T West.
It's not the Chargers. That's one I was thinking of was Chargers. Thinking of the Patriots.
It was the New
Was it
England Patriots.
Oh,
No way.
Which
Wow.
I did not know it was crazy to think of Jerry Rice being a Patriot.
I know, right? Like that's crazy.
Very weird.
That would have
All
been
right.
a short career.
T West, question number 5. The 1984 draft class features no Hall of Famers. What was the other draft year that had no future Hall of Famers drafted?
I know this one. 1992.
Wow.
Yeah. Where are we at? Let's just do a check real quick.
He's got 3.
He has 49. Luca, you have 42.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, Luca. You up? You ready? You ready? Okay, I'll wait for you to sip.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Got that
Go
brain
ahead, go
juice.
All right, Luca. The first ever draft was held in 1936. In which city?
Was it Canton, Ohio?
It was not Canton, Ohio. T West.
It was actually Philadelphia.
T West is studying.
Studying ass bitch.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. T West reached 50. Luca, you're at 42. So I'm still need a bonus.
Give a bonus. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Plot twist. The bonus question is worth 20 points. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah. Might as well. I mean,
no,
it's
no,
last ever
no,
question.
no.
Yeah.
But this is a fun one. All right, you guys ready? NFL players cannot be drafted right out of high school. The 3-year rule states that in order to be drafted by a team, a player needs to be at least 3 years removed from high school. And what other one requirement?
what other one required? They can't have they can't have an agent. Oh, that's to go back to school. Never mind. What is it?
Silence.
I know this is it's
Silence.
deafening. I'm trying to remember this one. I don't
So
know.
it's funny. While you guys are thinking, feel free to just interrupt me if you have an answer. But while I was putting these questions together, I was like, this was like question number 1. And I was like, this can't be question number 1. I said,
It's
this
tough.
is bonus
tough.
question material.
Oh.
So if you guys give up, I'm happy to just give you the answer. It's
Other one requirement?
yes.
3 years out of school, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
3
not
years
an age-
removed from high school.
Yeah, 3 years removed from high school.
And they have to have a GED.
No, that is not right.
All right.
I'll give you a hint. What comes after high school?
College. Oh, they have to attend college.
Kind of.
Community
okay.
college.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you the answer.
Okay.
They have to have used up their college eligibility.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
All right, boys. So the grand total is
49 to 42. We
No,
take
sir.
away this
50.
1 point.
50.
Well,
to
then I take
42.
the other point from last week because I
Well,
said
then I
it
take
first.
your other point.
Jesus.
You guys can fight over this offline, but I'm done with trivia.
Yep.
My work is done. We can roll on to a new segment.
Yeah, it's going to be us drawing shapes for like Billy, and he can tell us if it's a sport or not.
There,
He's so afraid of stats.
it's so true. There's a reason why I didn't play trivia because I do not have the extensive knowledge that you both do. Congratulations, both of you. You both did a
Congrats
really
to
good
you,
job.
West,
Yeah.
on
No, Luca,
studying.
that was-
No, this is an asterisk. This is like
It's
Billy
not an
saying that
asterisk.
he
Fuck
beat
you.
me in
It is not an
basketball.
asterisk.
This is like Billy saying that he beat me in basketball.
Oh, that's happening Labor Day too. You're going to take 2 L's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are
and I
you
just
going to be
wanna
like Aaron
clarify,
Rodgers and have a chip on your shoulder and everything?
This is not an asterisk win because you were also able to do the same thing that I was doing, and that was to study.
I went off of just pure knowledge.
Yeah, and a lot of this I knew as well.
Turns
Did
out
I
my
study
knowledge
something? Yes.
of NFL football, which 90% of the questions were about, a little weak. And we go baseball, basketball.
So no, I'm just going to say this though. This is not an asterisk thing. Okay, this was
It's
just
an asterisk.
No, it's not.
It's
not an asterisk.
And come Labor Day, we're doing full court. You're playing at 10
boy,
feet,
he's
and
still talking about
and I'm
this.
lowering the hoop to 6 feet for myself.
So you're not going to score. Great.
No, I'm going to windmill dunk in your motherfucking face.
You can't jump though. What are we talking about?
I'm 6 feet. I can. All right.
Well, let me guess. You also get a motorized scooter to help you go faster past me.
Well, now that you say that, yeah, that's a good idea. All right, boys, that was fun.
Yep.
This was good. I'm glad.
So now I gotta see if those hat boxes are still available, because the last I checked, they're not. So we'll find something comparable, something fun, and who knows? Maybe we'll do random hat box. We each get a random hat, and I'm buying, and we'll open them all up together on another episode.
All right, and now I have another plot twist for the both of you.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm such a nice guy, and because I didn't participate in answering the trivia questions all along, I knew that I was going to do this, which is I'm going to split the prize buying with the loser, because it's not fair that I just sit here and it's not fair that I just sit here.
That's so noble of you.
Come up with hard trick questions and whatnot. So
I take
Luke
back
and
all the mean, messed up things that T. West said about you.
Yeah. No, I want you to now tell everybody that I can in fact jump, or you're on your own for buying it.
Oh, it's like that. He comes with a clause.
No, we'll come up to something together.
Hey, you can jump up for chicken wings in 2 seconds.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Chicken wings, yeah.
So if that box isn't available, like you said, we'll come up with something to give T. West as his trophy.
Yeah.
You know what? It was just fun doing this with my friends. So
I still want to see what those hats.
No, it wasn't, because you're gonna rub this in for the next 20 years. You're gonna be like, "There's video evidence of it."
If I've learned anything from you, Luca, I would rub this in your face, but I'm not.
You
going
should.
To.
Yeah, I'm
not going to. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the fact that we just did trivia for how many weeks? Had some fun.
14 episodes.
Yeah. Right,
Luca, do you like dragons?
Dragging these nuts on your face,
because that's what T. West did to you in trivia.
Yes.
Dang.
All right, boys. This is fun.
Yep.
Wow.
Let's shut her down. And dude, I love the what ifs. We got to keep this going. We got some great debates we got to work on, some what ifs. All right, fellas. This is good.
Right.
I'm looking forward to the draft. We will see you guys later.
Tuning into the Burp. Let's get it. Let's get it, get it. Into the Burp. Let's get it.